Elon Musk has been spouting a lot of conspiracy theories about powerful individuals influencing political parties with money and a media that don't report stuff that's integral when it comes to your understanding of the political process. So who do you trust? Elon Musk or the mainstream media? Let me know, baby. Hello there, you 6.4 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me on this voyage through truth and freedom. Together we will scrutinize this data. Together we will pick the bones of truth from the carcass of a dying world. Elon Musk has been on the mainstream media since his acquisition of Twitter, and while many of you might have questions about his new CEO appointment, someone who's once worked with the WEF, he still certainly riles the mainstream, whether it's talking about donations to the Democrat Party, stories that are censored, information about the Bidens that's kept out of the mainstream. Many of these tales appear to be designed to provoke the Democrat liberal establishment, and yet Elon Musk, as you know I'm sure, voted for Joe Biden in the last election, the poor old wrinkly lovable old sod. So let's have a look at Elon Musk live with the mainstream, and let's look at some of the facts about what he's saying, and try not to get whooped up into tribalism and try to just discern, well, is it true? Is it true? What to do? What to do?
Tesla CEO Elon Musk never shies away from causing controversy or just talking about it. And that was the case when he sat down with CNBC anchor David Faber for a wide-ranging interview.
We want to start off with Musk's reaction when he was asked about conspiracy theories. Take a listen.
Let's talk a bit about your tweets.
We've talked about this interview before on Rumble. Have a look at all of our stuff over there. This interview's during a big week for Elon where he looked like he was out having a good time. He met Macron, and look at some of his stares. He's trying to melt this Michael Cera owl interviewer man with his mind.
You know, you do some tweets that seem to be, or at least give support to some who would call others conspiracy theories.
At this point, and let me know if you agree with this in the chat, the term conspiracy theory could be understood to mean information that the mainstream don't really want you talking about. The main conspiracy theory that we report on, as a matter of fact, is that powerful government and corporate interests collaborate in order to subvert democracy. We've got some evidence though, so it's not a total conspiracy.
Yes, but I mean, honestly, you know, some of these conspiracy theories have turned out to be true.
Which ones?
Well, like the Hunter Biden laptop.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the Hunter Biden laptop story is important for a number of reasons. One, its release at the time when it was uncovered may have affected the outcome of an election. Two, some of the information on that laptop pertains to the financial dealings of the Biden family, possibly even Joe Biden himself, allegedly. What we're interested in is the management of reality and how the mainstream media functions as a propaganda unit, ensuring that you're only exposed to certain information and denied access to other information, and that is always expedient to their desired outcomes. Elon Musk, like Donald Trump before him, even if you have a distaste for aspects of their nature, are important because they are powerful enough and influential enough to be a bull in the china shop of the neoliberal establishment. Even if you dislike Trump, or even if you dislike Elon Musk, clearly they are doing something that outrages the mainstream, I would suggest, because of the way the mainstream keeps attacking them. Let me know if you agree in the chat.
that was a pretty big deal. There was Twitter and others engaged in active suppression of information that was relevant to the public. That's a terrible thing that happened. That's election interference.
But how do you make a choice? You don't see, I mean...
At that point, Michael Cera, Owlman, could look to the great, vast news organisation around him and say, should we make some changes? Should we try to objectively look at information and look at the likely outcome of reporting or not reporting on particular stories? The mainstream media immediately just rolls past that point and on to inquiring along the same lines. Whether it's the cause of our inflation, the cause of the pandemic, the cause of the current war, only one side of the story is told. And do you notice that the side of the story that's told allows governments to regulate and powerful business interests to do powerful business?
I mean, for example, even today, Elon, you tweeted this thing about George Soros. Well, I'm looking for it because I want to make sure I quote it properly.
Yeah, because the mainstream media, they've got to be responsible for the way they tell stories.
You basically...
It reminds me of Magneto. This is like, calm down, people. This is not like made a federal case out of it.
You also... you said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, when you do something like that, do you
I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it?
Elon Musk is obviously powerful enough to actually be himself. What an incredible advantage that is in a world that increasingly wants to inhibit and prohibit who you are. I don't think that freedom, or indeed freedom of speech, means the ability to be horrible to one another, but it does mean the ability to speak openly and freely. Now, with the case of George Soros, it's clear that what is being alleged is that in criticizing George Soros, Elon Musk is being anti-Semitic because of George Soros's Judaism. But more significant, as far as I'm concerned, than the particular religion or race of an individual is this in the case of George Soros. He was the largest donor in the midterms. He donated $128.5 million to supporting Democratic candidates. That is what's important about George Soros. He donated a significant amount of money to the Democratic Party. That's a powerful and influential figure. I think investigating and interrogating what is expected in return for that $128 million does not mean that you're engaged in prejudicial or bigoted behavior, because prejudice by its nature is an attack on a group of individuals, and if it's an attack on an individual, you could say that there are subtle dog whistle tricks being used. But what we're talking about here is power. Power. George Soros doesn't donate $128.5 million to the Democrat Party for no reason at all. He does it for a reason. What is the reason? Is the reason to assert control? Is it to direct the Democrat Party? Is that interesting to you? Is it nothing? Why is that line of inquiry immediately shut down? Perhaps the mainstream media could nullify this problem by saying, we are going to investigate all billionaire donors to both political parties and see how their influence plays out when it comes to administration and legislation in the terms that follow the campaigns that they donated to. The religion and race should not be relevant. Racism is foolish and it's a waste of time. It is not a foolish waste of time to investigate the impact of donations on the way that a country is run, particularly when it's purportedly a democratic republic.
Why share it? Especially, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you? Advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you.
What's fascinating about this is we're watching the mainstream media try to apply censorship to Elon Musk. You are responsible for the share prices of Tesla. You are meant to be neutral and objective on Twitter. Who now believes that when Musk took over Twitter, the sturm, drang and hysteria that surrounded it was because of, oh no, this guy is going to be really influential in Twitter and he's going to make it bad, rather than we control Twitter and once he takes over, we're not going to control Twitter? Which seems more likely to you, looking at the Twitter file revelations, for example, and how we now understand that social media and the government, big tech more broadly, and various government agencies and even global agencies use social media to convey messaging that would otherwise be impossible, would certainly be impossible if there was a gatekeeper that just didn't agree with them. Even if you don't like Elon Musk, I would say, again, as with all these stories, extract the subject and just look at your own values and principles. Look at what's actually happening. It's one of the tools to personal awakening.
Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me, we can talk about it over there, you can tell your friends, but why share it widely?
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You absolutely are, but I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got it puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that? People today saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't think you are.
No, I'm definitely. I'm like a pro-Semite, if anything.
I believe that probably is the case.
Yes.
But why would you even introduce the idea then?
That's extraordinary, because he's not introducing that idea. That idea has been subsequently introduced. To what end? Remember, Elon Musk was criticized for being anti-Ukrainian and not supporting Ukraine enough, and was able to reveal that he donated $100 million. Really, the organization that needs to be inventoried and scrutinized is not Elon Musk, it's the mainstream media. You need to ask the mainstream media these questions. Why do you report these stories? Why don't you report these stories? Why do you highlight that information? Why have you ignored that? Why have you exaggerated that? Where do you get your funding from? Why do you have these experts and not these experts? Why was that information suppressed and that information highlighted? That is the kind of inventory, the kind of audit that needs to take place. Elon Musk, powerful though he is not like the blanket that encompasses the globe when it comes to the shared agenda of the corporately owned or state-owned media in maintaining systemic control. And I include within that the vague and, in my view, irrelevant fluctuations that take place in a bipartisan democracy. Oh, this bit of the media likes them, this bit of the media likes them. Which part of the media says they're both corrupt? Well, this is great fun, isn't it? But it's not paying us a single penny. How on earth am I going to keep myself in elaborate gowns if the algorithm keeps directing you to CNN and MSNBC and Fox through our sponsors? I'll make it funny. Stay with us. Hello there, you awakening wonders. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, who are the best in men's below the waist and below the snout and within the ear grooming. Their products are precision engineered tools like our analysis for your family jewels. Manscaped's performance package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. You get the lawnmower. This trimmer is the future of grooming, and some say the greatest ball trimmer ever. You get the Weed Whacker crop preserver ball deodorant, although if there is an odour, I mean, there just shouldn't be an odour on your balls. But if there is, this will rid you of it. The Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. In this case, the goodies are the products, not your reproductive organs. Join over 7 million men worldwide, not literally, that would be unhygienic, you'd be ankle deep in pubic hair, who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BRAND at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code BRAND. Oh, it's really actually quite satisfying because you can hear it. Can you hear that? That's the sound of youth returning.
I mean, look, we don't want to make this a George Soros interview.
No, God, no. I don't want to at all, but I'm...
And also, the interview itself is about what can I say to Elon Musk to get him to trip up and give me a soundbite. That's the way that the media is conducted now. That's its function. That's its role. There's always a subtle undercurrent of, can we get this person cancelled? Can we use a bit of information to destroy this person? It's not like an open investigation. Where is the truth? Let us find the truth together. Let us investigate. That's not the mentality. The mentality is attack, attack, attack on behalf of the system. Destroy, destroy, destroy on behalf of the system.
When you link to somebody who's talking about the guy who in a mall in Allen, Texas, and you say something like it might be a bad psyop. I'm not quite sure what you meant, but...
The company that found this is Bellingcat.
Right.
And do you know what Bellingcat does? Psyops.
Right. And that's a debate you want to get into on Twitter?
Yes.
Yes. Elon Musk is allowed to get into debates. You're allowed to get into debates. We are allowed to have conversations. We're allowed to. To prevent conversation, you have to start from the assumption that people are malevolent and that there is and ought be a central authority that should control your debate. Once you say, there is no central authority, I do not yield to any central authority. I have my own relationship with morality and values, my own principles, and I will use them as my guide, not systems that I know already to be corrupt because of the way they've behaved. Then you are free from this. Here's a little bit more information on Bellingcat. This is from Aaron Mate from Grey Zone. Musk is correct about the group overall. With complete uniformity, Bellingcat's media cheerleaders admit that the group is funded by NATO states and their contractors. And just as Musk suggested, Bellingcat has regularly promoted propaganda that advances its backers' foreign policy objectives. But the most recent and most obvious piece of information that's been suppressed and labelled a conspiracy theory is the Hunter Biden laptop case. Now, that's not particularly relevant if it just involves details of Hunter Biden's private life and his struggles with addiction in all of its various forms. But if it has revelations about the financial arrangements and conduct of the Biden family, I'd say that's relevant and important. Let me know in the chat in the comments if you agree. Here's some more information on that. It's been 1 week since House Republicans released a shocking report that sheds new light on the extent of the Biden family's lucrative business dealings with foreign entities. Wouldn't it be amazing one day to have a president that when you look at their dealings with foreign entities, it's like, oh, none. The stuff that they say in interviews, like when you see Joe Biden, corn pop, my dad asleep, worried about cancer, I'm a family man, we've got brothers, all that. Imagine if that was just true, and that was the sort of person. Oh, so what's your financial dealings with other states? Not really had any, because I've been busy with corn pop, my dad, the cancer, the family matters. Had no time to do dealings with foreign states, and most presidents are like it. And, oh, when you leave office, what are you going to do? Take a whole bunch of highly paid speaking? No, I'll be carrying on with corn pop, the cancer, the family man, and all of that, because this stuff is real. It means something. It's not just words that you say in order to facilitate the corporatization of the globe. Yet, despite witnessing what could become one of the greatest scandals in American political history, liberal media outlets are running the same playbook they used 3 years ago with the Hunter Biden laptop scandal, either denying the legitimacy of the story or ignoring it altogether. It's a full-scale media blackout. Conspiracy theory? Let me know in the chat. The House Oversight Committee's report identified 9 9 members of the Biden family who received a combined $10 million from foreign companies during and after Biden's time as vice president. Joe Biden's son Hunter received $1 million from a Romanian official known for corrupt business practices while Joe Biden was vice president, according to the report. An additional $2 million from the same official went to a company controlled by Hunter Biden's business partner. Now, I've got a family, I've got children. I guess under certain circumstances, I would do things to facilitate the advance of my children's lives. I'm sure all of us have little favourites, the people that are close to us in our lives. There is such a thing called nepotism. But what I will tell you is, I'm not the president of the United States of America, and I'm not keeping information out of the public realm that relates to democratic elections in the most powerful nation on earth, while simultaneously saying that the person I'm running against is the worst person in history. Bank records show few details as to what services were exchanged for these payments. A summary of the report alleges clear evidence of a scheme to peddle influence from 2015 to 2017. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer said in a press conference that his committee's report proves that while Vice President Biden was lecturing Romania on anti-corruption policy, in reality, he was a walking billboard for his son and family to collect money. He was just a billboard. Hey, have a look at Hunter Biden. He's fantastic. Look at these other 9 I can't count all of them all. Bye, Biden. We've never seen a presidential family receive these sums of money from adversaries around the world. Adversaries, not even countries that you like. In response to the explosive allegations, the White House and Biden family lawyers have vigorously denied any impropriety. Hunter Biden's attorney dismissed the House report entirely as repackaged misstatements of perfectly proper meetings and business by private citizens. Missing from his statement was any explanation of what valuable services Hunter Biden was providing to honestly earn millions of dollars from corrupt foreign businesses. Oh, there's a whole lot of services I can provide for corrupt foreign businesses. What are they? They are private and yet not corrupt or salacious. I don't have to open my kimono for you, but I will for $1 million. The Biden family's blanket denials have by and large been good enough for the media, however, which has launched an all-out effort to erase the story from the national conversation as quickly as possible. A proper media should investigate it, even if at the end of an investigation you're able to go, actually, no, it was legit. Of course it's nepotism, but crikey, it's no big deal. Yeah, even if it was that. But sort of ignoring it tells you something, doesn't it? Extracting it tells you something. The same as when Elon Musk says, why don't we have a conversation about how Bellingcat is funded or the impact of donations on political process? That's a conversation we should have, isn't it? In fact, the whole thing should be a conversation, shouldn't it? And if you don't want to have a conversation, what is that? On the day the report was released, the New York Times incredibly ran the headline, House Republican report finds no evidence of wrongdoing by President Biden. 20 paragraphs in, after engaging in a dizzying game of semantics to downplay the significance of the House report, the Times admits that Joe Biden falsely denied his son had ties to Chinese businesses. In other words, Biden lied. Imagine that as a headline. Biden lied. Oh, clickbait! In the last few paragraphs of the story, the Times also concedes that officials allied with Mr. Biden played a role in wrongly discrediting Hunter Biden's laptop, a shameful cover-up in which the Times itself played a major role, while simultaneously trying to distract from the issue at hand by claiming that presidents' families have long made money off the family name. In a sense, what's clear is that the mainstream media and the establishment are one organ, one entity, one body at least, functioning together in order to achieve mutually beneficial outcomes. Politico followed a similar playbook, reporting Comer releases Biden family probe update without showing link to president. Like the Times, Politico implied that because the House report did not provide a smoking gun explicitly linking the president to criminal activity, the extremely suspicious business activities the report uncovers should simply be ignored. The Hill ran a virtually identical headline, House GOP digs in on Biden family dealings without directly connecting president. Axios dismissed the report as just another swing at the Biden family. The complete lack of journalistic curiosity should be whiplash-inducing for anyone who lived through the Russia hoax, in which the same media that is now demanding forensic proof of a crime before covering the story spent years insisting there was evidence of collusion where in fact none existed. These are kind of details and aspects of the story that make me wonder what's actually going on, like how you can't say, oh yeah, if you examine the Russiagate stuff without any scrutiny and present it as true and then require scrutiny for this story, then what does that tell you? No, what it is these people are so bad and we're so good that we have to do all these really bad things in order to prevent those really bad people from getting in. But you're doing bad stuff, and that means that by that reckoning, you're bad.
Are we the baddies?
some news outlets have, to their credit, given the story the attention it's due. The Wall Street Journal editorial board, for instance, noted, there may not be a smoking gun, but there's plenty of suspicious smoke worth investigating. The New York Post also kept the focus on the Biden family's shady dealings in its coverage. However, it appears that the same people responsible for covering up the Hunter Biden laptop scandal in 2020 are now heading down a strikingly similar path. After all, censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story until after the 2020 election potentially helped install Joe Biden in the White House. Maybe they think they can pull it off again. Once again, I will reiterate that I don't believe that the differences between the political parties that have very similar funding models is worthy of such tribalized, conflagratory oppositionism. I feel that what we need is real systemic change. What we need is whichever party you're into or whatever set of beliefs you're advocating for, at least from the media, you need journalistic integrity, and from the political parties, transparency. So, Elon Musk, is he doing a good job or a bad job by criticizing the mainstream media? Do you want more censorship or less? Do you want the mainstream media to be open and to trust you to make your own judgments based on the information you have access to? Deal with your own prejudices individually at the level of your own bloody consciousness, consulting people, trying to piece together information? Or would you prefer more censorship, more control? And if that is your preference, you must recognize that one day another organization may utilize those same systems of control in the opposite direction. So the best thing for all of us, I believe, is transparency, clarity, democracy, decentralized power, the ability to be involved in debates with one another. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat? Turn on the notification bell and subscribe right now. We make this content every day. We want you to see it all. Also, watch our 1 hour show on Rumble. When you lot say in the comments, Russell should have his own show on the mainstream. We've got our own show. It's on Rumble. You can watch it every day. Go look at it right now. Also, have a look at either of these videos if you enjoyed this one. But more important than any of that, please stay free.